Welcome back to another episode of Locked In. Tonight, it's just me, your host, Chance, and we're going to be looking at something very interesting that just came out today, and that is some footage from Ohio State's first day of spring practice. Now, we've talked about Ohio State and their quarterback situation a few times already on this program, but one thing that we didn't expect was that Devin Brown would be taking, starting reps. So as you see right here, we'll go through the video. I'll just got 5 minutes of the quarterbacks playing. So none of them look better than the others right now. But from what it would seem is Will Howard and Devin Brown are in a quarterback battle for the number one spot. That's something that I didn't expect coming into spring practice. I pretty much expected it to be Will Howard as your set number one, everybody else battling for number two. And that could change as we go on because I mean this is just day one, but from day one, no one really particularly impressed. So Devin Brown and Will Howard were about the same, but you still have Julian saying there, Aaron Nolan there, and one of them's probably going to be leaving after their spring game, just because I mean one of them is not going to get to play for their entire career pretty much, and then they do have Lincoln Conholtz coming back for another year to be that set number three quarterback on the depth chart. Been in the system a few years, even with Chip Kelly coming in to change it up a little bit. Said you got new recruits, Julian saying there, you got Aaron Nolan there. So I mean, a lot of potential in this room. But so the main battle is between Devin Brown and Will Howard. Now, just looking at what Chip Kelly does, both of them are meant to, run this system. Because I mean, Devin Brown, he runs the ball a lot. I know they put in a few packages for him to run the ball a lot last year, especially down in like goal line situations. Run the ball tough with your quarterback, have more blockers than you do runners, top situations. So like short downs or goal line situations where they just need some power yards. So I know they did that with him, and we've watched Will Howard. Everybody knows what Will Howard does. He's a great runner. Played at Kansas State last year, so we all know what he can do. And he can pass, probably a little bit better than Devin Brown. He has more game time experience, but Devin Brown. The big thing with him is, he's had a year in the system, or more than saying, and or Will Howard, I mean. But with his thing, it's like Chip Kelly is coming in and he's at least bringing in a good portion of his own offense to implement. So I mean, even if Devin Brown knows, this is what we do at Ohio State, it don't mean that he knows everything with that Chip Kelly's bringing in. If Chip Kelly's not bringing in entirely a new offense, which I don't think he will, but at least a good portion of it will be his. And so, I think that gives Will Howard a good chance to play catch up with learning everything, especially since he's experienced. He knows he's been through it before a lot. He's a veteran guy, leader type guy. So I mean, he knows football and at least the techniques and basics of it a lot more than I'd say Devin Brown does. He knows what to look for more. So I think that he has a real good shot to beat out Devin Brown. Now, I'm most interested in seeing who really transfers after this year, or technically after spring, because I know that Devin Brown has been quoted saying, I'm not transferring, I'm gonna fight. And, I don't doubt it. He probably will. But Julian Sand and Aaron Nolan, who knows about them? Um, Said we're getting to watch them pass here, and they're doing them out routes, them deep outs too. So I mean, that they're having to throw the football all the way across the field from one hash to the sideline. That's a far throw, a throw that they're going to have to make a lot, and trying to see arm strength, accuracy here. So I mean, they're putting them through drills to see what their arm talent really is. And I mean, you just watch this. Can you really decide who's better between Devin Brown and Will Howard? Because I can't really. They look pretty much hand in hand. I think what it'll come down to will be the system, who can learn it better and who can run it better, and who the team likes more. because, I know a lot of people, I've heard that, even Rev has said it before on here, I think that a lot of people wanted Devin Brown to start last year over Kyle McCord, especially some guys on the team. But, I think Marvin Harrison was a big reason why that didn't happen because of his connection with Kyle McCord. And, that's whatever. But at this point, you got to be thinking the person who starts is going to be the one who runs the offense better. And, I think it's probably also going to be who runs the ball better. And with them changing up their offense and their scheme. So I think that's definitely something to look for. And if I'm taking my pick, I'm gonna say Will Howard runs the offense better and he runs the ball better overall. I said he might throw a tad bit better, but there's not much difference between him and Devin Brown from that video. Now game footage. There's not a lot of Devin Brown in the one game that he did play in. Said he didn't look too good. And, we can go over that in the future if y'all would like to see that. But, there's not much potential with him in the Missouri game. He didn't really get to throw the ball a lot because they didn't really trust him to. It was his real first game starting in college. And, he didn't really have all the starters out there to help him that, made Ohio State so great on offense last year. Now, one thing that gives the validity in saying, they're not going to have to throw the ball much this year, they went out and got Roydell Williams to come in and run the ball. Or not Roydell Williams, but Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss. And, he's a dignified runner. He's very good at it, and they still have TreVeyon Henderson. So, I mean, they have some horses in the backfield, and, if they're not getting 15 carries a ball game each, so that's going to be a shame if not more carries each for every game. So I mean, and that could be touches out of the backfield too. Them little dink and dive passes, whether it be routes across the middle or just some flat outs or some swings, some wheels. Said any screen passes they want to implement. Said, but them guys are going to be touching the ball at least 30 times a game. In my opinion, you can't do it any other way. And I, if I'm honest, I'd like to see Chip Kelly give whoever starts as quarterback 15 passes a game, 20 like maximum. Some guys you'll see passing 40, 50 times like a game, like once a year. Like that's what I want to see for the 20. Like I want to see that once, maybe twice a year for whoever starts here. They need to be running the ball and they need to be throwing the ball about 12 times a game. Make it them play action throws where we've ran the ball, we've ran the ball, and they're expecting it. They're playing up on it. They're playing tight coverage, and you send Emeka Ibuka and Jeremiah Smith out, and you let them run and catch the ball pretty much. And they're probably going to be open. If not, scheme up some shot plays, especially out of their play action that they're going to be able to run this year. And whether it's a kind of a QB read play, he gets to read either a dive or he can keep it or throw it. Let him have some reads in there, and let him run the system because I think Devin Brown and Will Howard can both do it. Now I'd trust Will Howard more to do it, but I'm not there. So whatever Chip Kelly and Ryan Day decide in spring, I think it'll be the right decision. And we should see that in the spring game. At least they'll have a pretty sure starter in the spring game by then. But right now, looks like Will Howard and Devin Brown are in a close quarterback competition, and if I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm feeling hopeful for the season because that definitely shows the offense is changing, and you're getting more into the Michigan ways of last year, where you've been beat 3 times in a row now by this team that changed from we want to pass the ball and be an explosive team to we're gonna run the ball down your throat and then throw it a few times a game and have them explosive plays still. I think Ohio State shifts towards that. Um, Sells out on defense. They paid a lot of money for them guys on defense. They paid a lot of money for the guys they brought in on offense. So I mean, you got to be thinking, hey, we're going to run the ball this year at Ohio State, and we're going to play great defense, throw the ball a few times a game, and have some big explosive plays.
faking them with play action, hitting them over top. As an Ohio State fan, I'll even me, I'm not an Ohio State fan. I hate Ohio State, but I'm pretty excited to watch this offense and see what it does, especially against Michigan and Oregon this year. Um, so, with that being said, this is all for me tonight. But y'all stay locked in.